My name is Chris Nossi. I'm the director of bands and orchestras here at Concord Carlisle High School. This concert that we have coming up next week is the culmination of our composer in residence project that we've had going on this entire school year with this excellent composer who we've worked with in the past, actually, Rodrigo MT. He had composed this work last year for accordion and wind ensemble, which we got to perform at a conference. And through that connection, we discussed doing something on a smaller scale, a sort of kind of experimental, adventurous chamber piece for for a small group of musicians. So this is actually going to be 15 student musicians with Rodrigo playing synthesizer as well. And we have strings and harp and wind instruments and various percussion instruments that the students will be playing to bring this piece to life. There's a lot of non-traditional notation in the piece. Uses Morse code and different shapes and lines rather than typical note heads to kind of dictate what should happen in the piece. And the students get to make a lot of creative choices and take a lot of risks as the piece goes on. And it's been a really exciting project to be a part of, and great to see the students be able to take such risks with their music making.
Hello, I'm Rodrigo Martinez, and I am this year's composer in residence here at Concord Carlisle High School. I approached this composition with the question in mind: what does it entail to be free in music? And how can I, and knowing that I would work and collaborate with young musicians, I wanted to ask them directly, what does it mean for them to be self-reliant in a musical context? So Patterns in the Ether is a composition that is deeply inspired in nature, in the town of Concord and its history, and the process and materials in the music asks the performers and I guess listeners and whoever is involved those questions. What does it entail to be free in music? And also the piece is structured around, vaguely structured around the idea of the 5 elements as they're described in the old Hindu scriptures.
Hi, my name is Abby Sexauer. I'm in 11th grade and I play the oboe. This process, to me, it has been technically challenging. I think it's really made a lot of us think about what we are as musicians and how we view music and how we can interpret it from paper to sound. And I think that it's really been eye-opening, and I don't know, it's been really fun. The process has been a lot of working with the composer and adding our own thoughts and opinions, and I think it's really coming together really well.
I'm Will Tatham, a current senior here at CCHS, and I play percussion.
I am Carter Hack, also current senior, and I also play percussion.
I mean, just from what's on the music page standpoint, it's drawings versus actual notes. And so in wind ensemble it would be actual notes, and I follow this dynamic and this tempo, but for this it's very free, so it's kind of liberating for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Will completely, and I feel that with this, it's so free. You can essentially do whatever you want with constraints to whatever is currently on the page for the section we're at. I just feel I feel I can be the most creative I've ever been while playing music with this project.
Hi, I'm Gabe. I'm a senior and I play clarinet. The difference between this and wind ensemble is that it's much more student-led, kind of, because there are no written notes necessarily, and that we sort of control what happens and figure out what to do on our own.
My name is Flora. I am a senior this year and I play the harp. I think it's a very paradoxical nature of being able to get out of your comfort zone. It's very hard when you first do it, but it's also incredibly rewarding. As I said earlier, it's getting used to something not sounding good and not sounding perfect. I'm very much a perfectionist, and it's pushed me in a lot of ways, both musically and also just like with like personally, because I'm around all of my peers who are also musicians, which adds a level of stress, being like, what if they think this is wrong? What if they don't think this is right?
I'm Adrian. I'm a junior, and I play bass clarinet. I think it's just really opened a lot more ways to think about music. I mean, basically all my experiences of music have been like just like reading it and not thinking too much about the creative process behind it, rather just like playing it and what does the composer or the composer want me to play. Rather, now I've been thinking about like how do I enjoy my own creativity in music and how do I interpret stuff in a way.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our concert tonight. We had done something like this a couple years back, where we had some sort of more adventurous, risky, avant-garde music that we put together with a guest artist, and we're so lucky to have had the opportunity to bring Roy back as a composer in residence this year for this project. What you're going to see tonight, we're sort of in two parts. The first piece, I had asked Flora if she had anything exciting in her repertoire that we could put together, and it took her a long time to pick from all the incredible rep she has. But we're going to start with a small trio piece before we move to the larger work. We'll tell you about that piece when we get there. But without further ado, I'm actually going to hand things over to Flora to introduce this first piece. Thank you for joining us.
Hello. We will be performing a piece called Mulata. Mulata is an original composition by harpist Tasha Smith-Gomez, which encapsulates the essence of what it means to let go. Abby, Carter, and myself explored what it means to let go through extended techniques, improvisation, and other opportunities. It is never easy to just let go, and as seniors moving on to the next chapters of our life, this challenge is ever present. Gomez dedicated this piece to her parents, James and Gretchen Smith, as a celebration for their love and support of each other and their family, which subsequently fueled Gomez's dreams and supported her ambitions. As you listeners will find that support comes in many ways. Both in and out of the rehearsal hall, it takes a village to shape and grow each one of us, either as musicians or as humans navigating an ever-changing world. Mulata is a journey in and of itself, constantly changing, growing, and carrying the ever-present idea of letting go and sharing the vulnerabilities that come along with it, paired with the support of our fellow musicians. As we went about putting this piece together, we reached out to the original trio to consult about what percussion instruments were used during the original recording. We received more than just a list of instruments, but support from a musician that we have never met. Percussionist Christopher Garcia reported to us that it is not the instruments that make the music, but the journey along the way. Without fail, Mulata was a joy to put together. As Carter, Abby, and myself grew up together, I don't think we ever thought we would be here, and similarly, we don't know if we will ever be here together again as we head off in different directions. We have supported each other since grade school, and continue to do so as we go off to reach our dreams and let go of what we know and embrace the vulnerability of ambiguity. For our music is not what we use to make it, but the journey we take together and what we bring from our past experiences and into the future. We hope you enjoy Mulata, and encourage you to also let go and embrace a sense of vulnerability as you go on this journey with us. Thank you.
So, thank you, that was beautiful. Hold on. The second portion of this evening, take you back maybe, what was it, almost a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Wait, was it
no, over that, because,
fall of 2024?
yeah.
Let's say.
Yeah. So I had the opportunity to meet Roy through this project with Dr. Brian Messier at Dartmouth College, and he was telling me this amazing piece that was composed for the wind ensemble there, for this accordion concerto, and we had this really incredible opportunity to then perform and bring Roy's concerto with us to All Eastern last year with the band, and the more Roy and I got to know each other, the more we kind of realized like, oh, we're kind of into the same music and the same sort of textures and explorations, and we started discussing having him in as a composer in residence this year. And thanks to the CCHS Parents Association and CC Pops and Concord 250 organization as well, we were able to make this a reality. It's been really exciting. If you have a chance, if you haven't seen it already, you should take a look at the parts that the musicians are playing, because I think, sort of to piggyback off of what Flora was saying, the idea of like letting go, especially in art, is really, really difficult when you've been spending your whole time like sitting, and there's the music, and the conductor says to do this thing, so I do it, and the page says to do that, and you're given all the answers. And this opportunity we've had with Roy has really challenged the musicians to kind of really go beyond what they're being told and have to make some decisions and take some really big artistic risks. And I know you're going to be blown away with what they achieved tonight. I'm going to hand things over to Roy to tell you a bit more about the piece, because it's wonderful, and you can certainly describe it better than I can. So,
Yeah, hello, I'm Rodrigo Martinez. I'm from Mexico, and surprisingly, I've had the great opportunity of like working a lot at like in New England through Dartmouth College, where I just studied an MFA in sonic practice, and through Dartmouth College, yeah, I participated in what they're calling the Mexican Repertoire Initiative, and that's the way we connected. And yeah, tonight, I'm incredibly honored and grateful to be an artist in residence here with this incredible group of human beings that we got to like know each other for the past, 4 months? Something like that. And yeah, as Nosy was explaining, the first time I was here, I found out that Concord is referred to, sometimes, correct me if I'm wrong, as the birthplace of freedom because of the American Revolution. I mean, I found out about this place's rich history, and I am one of those people who has had Walden in his reading list since ages ago, and I thought this is the perfect opportunity to read Walden. So I did, and I found out more about Henry David Thoreau. I also read Civil Disobedience. I also read some writings by Ralph Waldo Emerson, and I was just blown away because I think it's a great time to reconsider what does it entail to be free, both, how do we call it, just socioeconomically, but also humanly, what does it entail to be free? And I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna write a piece that tries to address that. And I just got myself into a lot of trouble, I guess, because it just immediately took me into so many directions. Could I talk about nature? Could I talk about like a self-reliant society? Can I talk about religion? Can I talk about politics? And now, what does it entail to be free in society? I started thinking about, wait, this piece can live in a website. So I started coding a website, and we were going to play this piece through the score, like hosted on a website. And that took us places, but then we like took a couple of steps back because as a team, and I think you can all like agree, we kind of took decisions together. I was like, let's try this, and now let's try that. But the ensemble was asking very important questions that I was trying to listen to carefully. So the resulting piece is, deeply rooted in the idea of like free music, quote unquote, whatever we want to call that. But also we ended up taking decisions, and I ended up yeah, I invite you to look at the score when this is all done, to devise some drawings and some prompts for the musicians to take their own decisions. The idea is for the ensemble to be self-reliant, but then in the end, I did take some liberty, some freedom to like decide where this is gonna go. So in the end, I wrote a piece that is deeply inspired in nature, in all of the elements, and yeah, it takes like the imagery behind what I read in the words of Thoreau and Emerson, and also in what they inspired them, which apparently like they both read old, very old ancient Asian scriptures, like religious Hindu and Chinese philosophy. So that's like ergo the title Patterns in the Ether, which is kind of like a reference to how, for example, they interpret classical music in India. Musicians just sit in silence, and as Thoreau would say, wait, what? Time is the stream they go fishing in, and that's kind of like what ignites this piece, the idea of like just sitting in silence and allowing for the ether to just come through us. Yeah, it's kind of like a nice cherry on top, cosmic cherry on top of what I found out about this place's rich history. And I'm deeply, deeply thankful to everybody here, and super excited about, yeah, what we got to do. Also, there's a radio show that is being aired on the school's radio station about me talking about all the stuff that I've been thinking about and listening to in this process, in case you want to tune in at some point.
And an installation.
And there's an installation coming on, like in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that's again like where I started. I'm deeply honored and thankful to being given this opportunity, because it took me in every single direction, and I was allowed to pursue every single like creative project, and this is one of them. Patterns in the Ether for Open Self-Reliant Ensemble. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Roy, for joining us and writing this awesome piece. Thank you, musicians, for taking all these incredible risks and chances and all the decisions you have to make from beginning to end of that piece. Thank you, Ned, for putting lights in here so we look cool. And thank you all for joining us tonight. And we will see you at the March concert, which is like so soon. So, thank you all again. Have a lovely night.
I also want to deeply thank everybody who's been involved in and sponsoring this project, like Chris Nosey, Director of Bands here at Concord Carlisle, and the Town of Concord, Concord Carlisle High School parents, and the Thoreau Farm